Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Charles with the latest edition of Charles Snyder Raw. It's unscripted, unfiltered, and for the most part unedited, unless I'm hacking up a lung. I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to see that, so I'll actually cut that stuff out. Anyway, this is all about what I have on my mind, what kind of challenges I'm facing, or what I'm doing, what I'm working on in business, etc., etc. Um, so the biggest thing on my mind right now is, like I mentioned in the video from yesterday, that I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out. I'm pissed, aggravated, frustrated, you name it. This is like the third or fourth time I've dealt with a major data loss um, while traveling. I had a problem with my laptop when I got out to California. Once I came back from California, I had data loss on a thumb drive and my main backup drive, which is the only thing I had with me when I went to California. Didn't have a second backup drive with me. So essentially everything that I do with my business, especially with the videos and everything, because of how much room they take up, I stick them on an external drive just to make things so much simpler. And the other aspect of that is that I also back up like all my business files, all the documents I've ever created, the test form, or not the free marketing worksheet that I've created, all like the different ebooks, all the articles I've ever written, like hundreds of articles from the old website were all on this main drive that I didn't have an updated backup to. The last time I did a backup was on December 9th of last year. So I hadn't run a backup on it because between December 9th and Christmas, I went out to California. So I missed the backup there. And then after the first of the year, I went with transitioning the website from the old web server over to the new one, still doing some of that back end work on that. So I totally missed that backup as well because I was so focused on this other stuff, which isn't an excuse. And then I got deployed again to California. I didn't take my second drive with me. I forgot to take it with because I wanted to do this backup. Backups are very important. So far I've only been able to recover back to December 9th. And as you can see on my screen capture, that I'm about 45% into actually recovering these files. I went through and I actually did the check disk thing like I was saying about yesterday, which did correct quite a number of errors, but the drive is still not accessible by Windows. So the only way to get around that is to reformat the drive. Well, if you reformat the drive, you're going to erase everything that's on the drive. So I went through and I got this program off of Seagate, which cost me $100 for that thing, to go back through and recover the information off of my drive. Now, there's other services out there that can cost anywhere from a couple $100 to a couple $1,000 to do data recovery, especially on this scale. We're talking almost 1 terabyte just in business files and videos that I've done over the past year. Well, actually, year and a half. And all the like backups from everything, from like all the websites I've ever created to all the books I've ever written, all the documents and files and white papers I've created for the marketing business, every single ad we've ever run, every single landing page and sales funnel we created, all that information was in there, but I was only able to recover everything back to up to December 9th of last year. So in order to get all the work that I've done since December 9th until, now, up until the day I've flown home, I have to, there's just a tremendous amount of work that was done, especially right around after I came back from California in December. Between December 20th and March 4th, I created a lot of stuff for the business. Plus, I had Ann working on some stuff on the back end. Plus, I was also using a virtual assistant to create some other, database for the business that we can use. We're, kind of organizing our sales database, or that we can market to, and we're organizing that a little bit differently from the way we have done that in the past. And this is just all in the process of just trying to make that a lot easier. We're actually segregating all of our leads into specific industries, and I'm going to focus, the business is going to focus on mainly 2 industries for now until we really build them out and stuff. And, then we'll consider taking on another industry. But just, those 2 for now. Anyway, long story short, I'm still working on that. I still lost, at least 4 videos. I can pretty much recapture all the finished work that has been done, that we have up on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that. I can recover most of that. That's not a real big issue. What is an issue is all the work that was, all of our old articles off of the old website, all the raw files, all the raw video files that we, mainly I've created, that it's going to be hard to actually use really any of that stuff, in the future. So if I come up, some of it is or does have some potential as what's called evergreen content, which means it's always going to be relevant. A lot of the stuff that I've talked about as far as like marketing, defining your audience, niching down, the sales funnel process, all that stuff's evergreen. That's, the technology may differ, the approach may differ, but the process will always remain the same. It's the same as it's always been. It's just using new tools and new media. So anyway, that's the the fun that I'm having is, it's Training Tuesdays, so I'm cranking this out in between training calls, and so I got my work cut out for me today. But the lesson here is always back up. Make the time to do backups so you don't have to do this kind of crap like I'm facing right now. It happens. I've had it happen to me one time before where, I pretty much lost everything when a computer fried many years ago. And, which led me to writing one of the first books I ever wrote about computers and backing stuff up. Again, that was some evergreen content that still applies today as it did 20 years ago when I wrote it. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's the challenge that I'm facing. This is how I'm working around it. So, again, always hope that this stuff helps. If it doesn't help you solve the problem, I hope it prevents the problem for you in the future as I'm facing it right now. But anyway, I got to get rolling. So, depending on how this process plays out over the next day or two yet, depends on what content gets put back up. That missing content from last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from last week, which is 3 raw videos and a 5 minutes with Charles video. It depends on how that all plays out. I'm not going to have time today to really go back and play with that. Plus, we're at 54% now, so Maybe I'll be able to do something later on today. I don't know, but I have conference calls all day. Today is my learning day. Today's the day this is part of the reason why I spend, $10,000-$15,000 every year to be learning new stuff. And I should be focusing on, what I've actually taught in the past, which is backup, backup, backup. But anyway, I got to roll. Hope you guys have a great day. Love, peace, and chicken grease.